for the arts. Welcome everybody for joining us tonight for um, the Da Beat Art Talk. For tonight, we are inviting an artist couple, a musician, and another artist. I hope you guys enjoy the talk tonight, and let's welcome our first group of artists, Nix and Shane.
Hello.
So go ahead and tell us a little about yourself.
You first.
So, my name is Nix, and I'm an artist that primarily works with oil pastels, and my work is very representative of my surroundings and my mental state of being. And a lot of my I guess things that I go through on a day-to-day basis, and that will encompass my relationship sometimes too, and yeah.
And I'm Shane, and I'm a painter. And I guess I can sum up my work in an abstract way, but then I also do another type of work that works with more representational, symbolic figures that I plug in to convey some type of message, known or not known to me, um, that I figure out throughout time. And I produce these by having a very rigorous preliminary sketch that is usually through a calculated pattern of ever expanding or ever contracting patterns that pretty much contain it, and it's a very planned out process, which is contrasting to Alex's work, which then we create some type of dynamic together.
Cool. So one of you guys are working abstractly, and one of you next you're working representational works, or most of them
Yes.
are figurative and representational work. So what where do you guys draw the inspirations from, and could you give a little more explanations about it?
So I think, like, I kind of said this already earlier, but it's more like literally whatever I see around me, and I get drawn to things that raise a lot of questions personally, so I try to bring those questions to the table with my art. And some of that will be, like I said, my surroundings, like what I see in the city, what I see in my upbringing, in my household. And then sometimes it'll be more introspective and more, personal, having to do with my own feelings and emotions. So that's where I've been right now so far on my artistic journey.
Yeah, and our show at the Progress Gallery right now is titled Here and Beyond, and her approach is tackling the here, and then my approach is tackling the beyond. And that's where I gather my inspiration from, is the unseen that is existent in everything, but then is beyond our perception. It gets touched upon in things such as science, like quantum mechanics, how everything is constantly moving and vibrating, and like 99% space all together. So it's that fascinates me and makes me want to explore further into that realm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really interested in a group of a series of your work, the Black Cats, the Pomona Stray. Could you tell a little bit about this inspiration specifically?
Yeah, so I have this series where I drew feral cats that I would see and snap a picture of, and I just liked I don't know, the feelings and the questions that arise when you see a stray cat, and specifically cats too, because they can be a bit I don't know, like some cats won't want your help or won't want you to approach them, and I don't know, naturally when we see a cat or a domesticated animal that is stray, like we want to help it, and it's just something about the pure existence of the cat living in our same environment, but doing it in their own way. Just kind of reminds me of how there are multiple realities within a reality, and you can't be too fixated on your reality or
Right.
project it onto others, even if it's a stray cat. So yeah, I kind of wanted to bring that to the table.
Like it's frustrating too, huh? Because you can't touch them.
You can't touch
You want to
it.
pet them or something, but
Yeah.
you can't.
Once you approach, they will run away. Yeah. Okay. So, when did you guys started doing art, and your younger experience on making art, or did you get any inspiration from your family members in early years?
Yes.
I personally didn't have any clear example into the art world, but I got a lot of support, and I think that really allowed me to continue my art practice just through the mere support of it, and knowing that I didn't want the regular kind of set time job schedule and all that. Like, I don't think I was built for it in any way, or maybe nobody's built for it, you know, but I wanted to reject that and just followed the path of being an artist basically through school. But yeah, I guess it just happened. I don't know. I cultivated that, and it grew it, and just became what it is.
It's
Yeah.
coming from inside of you, and you were not
Yeah.
really looking for something particularly. It just very naturally happened.
Yeah, which I think it should for everyone, because when you're a little kid, I think that is a point where everyone likes artistic things. But it's just, there's a point where you either divert yourself from it or you follow it. So it kind of gets buried in a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I do think it's very consistent in all people, but then it's just it's something you need to exercise basically to continue and
Cool.
be that. Yeah.
What about you, Nix?
I think for me also it was always just inside of me, and I have a lot of siblings, and I think creativity runs in the family, so I was encouraged a lot by my sisters, and they always studied art and were even going to college studying art history, and they would teach me what they would learn, and sometimes even take me to their classes and
Wow.
things like that. So there was a lot of artistic influence around me for sure, and it was just really inspiring.
Cool. Another questions that I have. Okay, this question is gonna go a little deep. What is the message that you're trying to portray through your artistry?
I guess there's a couple answers, because our show is
Yeah, let's talk about our work together.
okay. Yeah, so together, the goal for the show is to create, like the show we have in Progress Gallery right now. We split it up in two sections. Half of the gallery is my work, and half of the gallery is her work. And we tried to create some type of contrast that would help stimulate both sides of the hemisphere of our brain, left and right, to pretty much try to find a middle path between the two by going back and forth from the two, or even exercising it one side that you think is not as strong, just by going to one or the other.
Yeah, like we were explaining it to someone earlier that was at the gallery. It's like with my work, I use a lot of the right side of my brain, which is very expressionistic and intuitive. And then because of that, I'll leave out a lot of details and it's not hyper realistic. So when the viewer looks at my representational work of, like a cat or a person, even though it's not drawn completely accurate, they're using the left side of their brain to complete the image or create their understanding of it. And the same happens with Shane's art, with like your process.
Yeah, the process is completely coming from myself in a methodical way, but then the outcome of what you get as the viewer goes to that objective self that is in all of us. So you kind of take a step back from your ego and from the everyday beliefs and desire or instincts and whatnot, and then you kind of dive into that realm of the everything, which is the opposite of being the left side analytical self. So both our work stimulates the opposite side of what it is coming from. It's like a counterbalance of the image itself.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see that this kind of opposite of style works being split together, and you guys have the collaborative works, and it kind of have the both aspect of geometric left brain and then also the left brain.
Yeah, so there's a lot of linear lines, but then also very loose, free lines in it. We try to create that balance between us, which can be hard at times. So we have to go back and forth on the collabs until we both are satisfied, which sometimes it doesn't happen and sometimes it does, and it's nice when it does. So.
But all the collaborative works that you guys been exhibiting and the show, it's been very harmony that putting together, even though it sounds like that you guys are practicing different opposite side of ideas.
Yeah, there's definitely some collabs we've done that are hidden from the public. They don't display because we don't see them as successful. So.
Yeah. And you guys moved to Pomona and in your studio, and that helps a lot with your collaborative works, your own works. So when did you guys move to Pomona, and how would you describe the art scene in Pomona?
We moved here about maybe like 2 years ago, and I feel like it has changed even since then. It has changed a bit, but the art scene in Pomona is very diverse. There's a lot of different types of art and different types of artists.
Yeah, and the freedom of that is nice. It's a nice spectrum that you can, go into either side. And we definitely have showed at a couple that don't seem to fit our wants as much as others. I think there could be an imbalance possibly with some aspects of going out. Like it could be a result of us living next to a couple clubs. That could be it.
Bars.
Yeah, and bars. So there's a difference between someone that comes here for the art and then someone who comes here to get messed up on the weekends type of thing. So it would be nice to possibly combine the two in some harmonious way.
Yeah. Like we were talking about it earlier, and we were talking about, even the term alone, art scene, implies that people come here for art. And as he said right now, like there's not so much of a balance of that. It seems like there are a lot of people that come to art walk or Pomona in general just to get messed up as he said. And yeah, it would be nice if there was like a like we even thought of like an art bar where it's like it literally an art gallery,
Yeah, or even like a bar where like they
Yeah.
every other month or something they make different installations where like it looks like a cave or looks like a jungle or that would be nice. Nice mix of the two, just
Yeah.
because I think a lot of the places here where people drink at it brings out a side of them that is a little animalistic. The loud music, can't hear each other
It's
type of thing,
Yeah.
dark. So it would be nice to kind of mix the two to create a space where you can have
Yeah.
beer and have a nice conversation. It's like
Yeah.
doesn't seem like we're seeing that as much, but I'm sure it's out there. It's just
Yeah, for sure. It sounds a really good idea. I mean, wow. People whoever in the other side of screen, this is a free idea. I mean, everybody go to
Yeah.
downtown Pomona and develop this.
Yeah.
Bar.
And I think the scene is greater than what I've witnessed before too. But then it doesn't mean there's not any room for improvement, which is always good. I think there should always be room for improvement, especially with
Yeah.
art.
Yeah, and there's already a lot of audiences for art, a lot of audiences for bar. Why don't combine both of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. This is it for Nix and Shane. And do you guys have any social medias or website that people can find out more of your art before we wrap up?
We mostly work off Instagram. My plug is like Shane's .art or something like that. I've changed it a couple times, so it's not super clear, but I'm pretty sure that's it. But yeah, Instagram is basically what we have right now. We've had a website before, but we didn't keep up the payments and just the maintenance of that.
Websites are hard.
Yeah, we're not very skilled at marketing ourselves very much. So.
And you guys have an Instagram together, right? It's called Shinx. SHY.
Oh yes, yeah. That's for our like
Collaborations.
yeah, like our real work though.
Mural.
Yeah. So we don't identify too much with our shared account.
Okay.
Yeah, but our individual accounts, that's where we actually put our work that we like to work on, basically, for ourselves.
Sure. Okay. Is there anyone? Would they able to ask questions? No. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our massive audience behind. Would you like to play first, or would you like to introduce?
I can do
to you.
whichever. I can maybe introduce first.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Frankie Nicole, the musician, for tonight. So why don't we just start with a little about yourself, background.
Okay. Well, yes, my name is Frankie Nicole. I'm a singer, songwriter extraordinaire. I write my music, record it, produce it. I make the cover art. I do everything right now. And so I'm like a one-woman show for now. I grew up practically in Pomona. I went to high school in Pomona, and then I'm now in Cal Poly in Pomona. which is wonderful. I absolutely love this city. I've met some amazing people and seen some amazing art, and it's definitely helped inspire me with my own music for sure. And so, yeah, I'm just an independent artist doing my thing.
Cool. It sounds like you have multi-talent. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I don't know.
But it's not
But
often
thank you.
to see. But you was mentioning about the one woman show. Could you talk a little more about it?
Yeah, so I guess for now it's just me doing my own thing. One, because sometimes it could be hard to collaborate with other people because sometimes they might not see the vision that you're seeing or the vision that you want. And so I don't like bothering. I feel like I bother people. So I don't want to like ask somebody like if they want to like help me out with something because maybe they're busy, and I just think of a bunch of stuff that just kind of prevents me collaborating with them. That and money. It's expensive to get like producers or buy fancy equipment or just kind of get other people on board. But yeah, for the most part, I think I might be just a little stubborn and just kind of want to do my own thing with the
Sure.
instruments I got and everything like that.
Yeah,
So.
but bothering people is a part of the meaning of being an
Yeah.
artist community.
So true. So
Right?
true.
Okay, so since you're a multi-talent artist, I insisted to say
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
How long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since, every musician always says that they've played since they were like 5 years old. So it's like,
Artists says the
for
same.
me, I actually think it was, I've always been into music, but I started playing it actually like in the 4th grade in elementary school. I started taking drum classes, and that really sparked my passion for music. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I loved creating and just like getting to play around and express myself that way. And so I'd say around that time was when I started really actually getting into music.
Wow, what is the experience of being a young musician or artist?
Well, right now, it's kind of interesting because I feel like as a young artist right now, there are so many super talented young artists in the music industry right now with like Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, and a
Sure.
ton more of like musicians in their like late teens or early 20s who are absolutely like killing it and just like selling out shows and records and getting a bunch of streams. So
Yeah.
sometimes as like a 21-year-old artist, I feel a bit down and think I might not be doing too much, or I might not be doing enough or something like that. So right now it's a little tricky, but at the same time I think it's kind of cool because I'm still so young right now. And so I get to make music with the perspective that I have now at my age, and then when I get older I can look back and see if I've grown or how I've grown as a musician or as a person really. And I think that's cool. So
Yeah, and you have like a lot of choices because you're a young artist. Like
Yes.
you don't hurry to establish one style of music that soon. Yeah, you can try out of a lot of things. So where do you take your musical inspiration from?
I take my musical inspiration from really just so many different kinds of bands and musicians. There's not really a specific musician who I'm super inspired by, or like even just a few bands like that I'm inspired by. I'm very much a musician that kind of listens to just absolutely everything, everything I could come across.
Sure.
And I take like I take inspiration from just like individual songs that I listen to. I have a whole I have a whole bunch of different artists that perform different genres and styles in my liked artist page on Spotify. I have like Willow, I have Interpol, I have like Doja Cat, Ariana Grande, like just random musicians who I come across. I hear a song, I'm like, that's nice, I like it, and then I kind of think about what I liked about the song, and then I take inspiration from that and just incorporate it into like my own music, pretty
Wow.
much.
Cool. So when you listen a song, do you get inspired by one clip of it, or do you listen the whole song? And generally, the more you listen to it, the more strong feeling that you get from it. Like which way
Yeah,
would
I
you?
think it's probably both, to be honest. I think that it's there's bits and pieces that catch my ear, I guess. Not catch my eye, but catch my ear. When I listen to a song, I can put on like a playlist of like a certain playlist of a certain genre, and then a song will come up, and then I'll be like, oh, I really like how the bass line in that song sounds. Like it's like heavy, or it's just really like groovy or something,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, yeah, I like that, and then I'll kind of like keep it in like the old memory box, and then apply it to like my production maybe in the future when I'm just kind of bored and wanting to write a song and stuff like that.
Yeah, just little clip or some riff that you got inspiration and then
Yeah.
store in your brain,
Yeah.
your mind, and then pull it out
Yeah.
someday when you need it. Wow,
Exactly.
it's very interesting. So my next question is how has being at the Cal Poly shaped you as an artist?
Going to Cal Poly has made me think more deeply about music because I'm taking classes that deal with like breaking it down. You figure out like the more technical stuff. You learn more about like the formulas that typically make like a good song that would get like a lot of attention, or like what's popular in like mainstream music. And so it's kind of almost like you move the curtain. Have you seen like The Wizard of Oz? You haven't? Okay.
I'm not
Well, it's
sure.
like there's like this like freaky little like there's like Oz or something, and then there's like this dude who like runs everything, and then the characters like at the end of the movie they like go to his like castle, and they see a curtain, and because they think he's this magical being that's like running the city. They think he's like so big and powerful, and they like reveal they like move the curtain, and then he's just some guy. He's just some like a little man, and so that's kind of like how it's been with me going to Cal Poly for music. Is like it's revealing like the little the little man of the music industry, and just kind of seeing like what actually
Everything
makes
behind it.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and also just the music department at Cal Poly is just it's so filled with like such amazing musicians who just really inspire and motivate me, and I just feel like whenever I walk in that in the music building, I just feel like ready to create. I feel ready to go. Everybody's just
Yeah.
like super wonderful. So yeah, for
Wow.
sure.
So are you a sophomore or a junior?
I'm a
something?
senior.
Wow.
Yeah, fourth year.
Wow. Wow, that's a pretty fast process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're at school, do you do music theories, and do you think that's, useful for your music creations? How, apply things when you get from the academic class and to a studio class, or
So you mean like like how I apply like what I learned from like different types of classes, like a music
Yeah.
recording class or like music theory, like
Yeah.
those. Okay.
To your own creation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just with music theory, obviously, like what I said before was you learn more of the technical aspects of music and how to write it. And so that helped, it actually made it a little easier for me to think about how to write my songs because you learn about the different structures of the song and what makes a song what it is. And so it's helped me out when it comes to making things easier for me when I'm writing. And then with like music recording, I learned more about like what could sound good, even if I'm still rusty. I'm still learning, always learning. Regardless of, you know, of that, it still helps me just like improve as a musician, get to learn more things and just apply it to what I'm doing.
Yeah, and keep learning and keep
Yeah,
improving.
always
your own-
learning. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm so ready for your performance, and
Okay.
I heard a little bit before, and it's amazing, guys.
Oh,
Why
thank
don't you just?
Thank you. Okay. So this first song, I actually released it not too long ago, and it's called Rot, and it's just about how like hard it could be to like communicate your feelings and emotions like effectively with the people around you, and how in the song, well, you'll hear it. So here's here's Rot, and you can I'll say something after. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Maybe one day I'll get dressed up, buy a pair of pants that I can tear up. Maybe one day I'll get my words right, then my mom will understand what keeps me up at night. Maybe one day I'll be the confident one, live my life outside my bedroom, be the prodigal son. Maybe one day I'll speak up loud and clear, pour my feelings on the table and they'll be sincere. Yeah, probably not. These thoughts rot, and I don't know what happened or how bad they got. Yeah, these thoughts rot. Yeah, these thoughts rot, and I don't know what happened. I think about them a lot. Yeah, these thoughts rot. One day I wanna be the tough one, love 1 second, but I'll put my dukes up. Maybe I can tell it like I think it, then they won't be second guessing how I'm feeling. Someday somehow I'll be unlocked from this cage, break the bars and tell my family that I want to change. Or maybe I should get myself a new career, pull the plug on all the music no one wants to hear. Yeah, that's all I got. These thoughts rot, and I don't know what happened or how bad they got. Yeah, these thoughts rot. Yeah, these thoughts rot, and I don't know what happened, but they're all I've got. Yeah, these thoughts rot. And then there's that.
Wow.
So that was that.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so thank you. Yeah, it's just essentially just me kind of thinking up all the different versions of myself that like maybe I could be one day that are much more confident and like say how they feel, you know, without being afraid of anything and all of that good
Wow.
stuff. So that was Rot.
Yeah, it's just a song that is so touching and moving.
Oh, thank you.
When you writing a song, do you get the lyrics first or the melody first?
Usually, it's just me like putzing on the guitar or like the piano for a little bit. So it's like the chord progression first, essentially, and then I sing like over it, you know. So that's kind of how where it starts. So it's like chord progression, then lyrics.
Wow, how long does it take to
Ugh,
for you to write
sometimes it
this
takes
one?
days, weeks. Sometimes it takes months. It's just like you never know. So.
Yeah, it's up to where the inspirations go, and
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Sometimes it's there. Most times it's not.
Well, that happens to most of the artists. So do you have any advices for your younger self or young artists who even younger than you or the same age with you?
Advice that I would give is just do whatever you want. Just like absolutely lose your mind. If you have an eccentric idea for music or art that you think, oh, well, maybe people like might make fun of me, literally just do it anyway. Because what could be seen as weird right now could be trendy tomorrow. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
just do absolutely whatever you want. Just go nuts
Wow.
with your music and everything.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
having
for
me.
joining me. And that was a really good performance. I mean,
Aw,
I
thank
was
you.
touched.
Oh,
I
thank
was
you
like-
so much.
I couldn't help myself, like.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you ever add a drum beat behind it? Because you mentioned that you learned drum, right?
Yeah, I did. There's like a whole produced song out of this. It's not just acoustic. I
see.
released a song that's on Spotify and SoundCloud, wherever you listen to music. And yeah, so pretty much there you have it.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's so fun.
Yeah, all right. Should we pause a little? Our last artist, Esteban. Welcome. Hi. Sorry for the waiting.
Oh, it's cool. It was pleasant.
Okay, is everybody still there? Okay, good. Yeah, just tell a little bit about yourself, your background, about your art a little.
All right. Well, I do remember that I started getting into art. Like my dad, when I was small, he grew up on the farm in Mexico, so he would know how to, he could freehand horses, right? So that kind of got my attention. And then, I don't know, I just found it comforting, it's like, it just felt like an escape, right? And then I would normally just draw with pencils and, pens and markers, and later on, after high school, I started messing around with canvases and paintbrushes. So, yeah, after that, I just, progressed in it. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds very natural, and I saw a lot of your art are about animals, creatures, and do you have any? Do you feel any related to the natural animals?
Yeah, it's kind of like well, with the animals, it's kind of earthly, and because I lean more towards surrealism, so I try to put things in my artwork that resemble reality. So when you look at it, there's pinpoints to it that it seems real, but then again, it's not. It's like, like a door or a window in space. It's two things that shouldn't be together, but they are.
Yeah, that's interesting. How long have you been in Pomona?
Well, I grew up here most of my life. I came, um, I was in Pomona since like kindergarten
Wow.
up until now.
Wow. Which part do you live in Pomona?
I live on, I think it's like the south side,
The south side.
by, it's like south, it's close to East End, so it's like southeast, like the border
Oh,
of south and east.
Wow. So do you come to the downtown Pomona a lot?
Now I do. Now that I got more involved with the gallery, I do come down more. But I mean, I would come around when I was like in high school just a few times.
Mm,
But I never really knew what was here.
yeah. Yeah. And the arts colony weren't really that established by that time, right? Or,
Yeah, before it
being
was
promoted.
like music events.
Mm-hmm.
There was an art walk, but I don't think it's been the way it is now.
Yeah, it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. So how would you describe the Pomona art scene?
Um, what's there's a lot to it. Like there's a lot going on in Pomona. I think it's well compared to other cities. I think it's very rich, the Pomona art scene. Like there's out of town artists, there's local artists. Like there's always something going on in Pomona with surrounding art,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's like a staple of the city. So, I mean, it just keeps getting better and better, and there's always gonna be
Yeah.
something going on.
Yeah, and I heard you was invited. You was one of the artists of the Magoo um, mural painting project. So who invited you, and how did you get contact with the DA Center, and what was the experience?
So I got in contact with the DAW maybe like I want to say 2.5 to 3 years ago.
Mm.
Because normally I would just like be up all night and just knock out canvases, just paint and paint and paint.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point where I was like, I can't just paint. I need to do something else with this. Like try to see where it goes. And
Yeah.
so I came and I found this gallery. It was the only one that was open.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Margaret. And ever since then, I became a volunteer
Mm-hmm.
for like a year or more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started getting involved. And yeah, and recently we got offered the opportunity to work on a mural, and
Mm-hmm.
I was offered the opportunity to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the process about? How many artists in that project?
So there were eight artists: David, um, Boteo, Wayne Healy, the two, the OGs, and then it was 7 other artists.
Mm-hmm.
Some from this gallery and Pomona locals,
Mm-hmm.
and then David Boteo's son, Benjamin Boteo.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in total 8.
Wow. So, do you guys work together, or do you guys work separately? Bring
Um,
up into sessions.
Well, first, because the project started kicking off during COVID, when it was, it was still very annoying at the time. So
Yeah.
we would, everything took in place, social distancing, masks, tests, temperature checks. So
Mhm.
we would work in groups for a while. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is like the mural and eight artists. You guys are working on collaborative work, and there must be some like negotiations, communications amount. So does it help for your own art to know this many artists, or just practicing?
Yeah, because I think it does. It kind of, I mean, just being yourself an artist
Mm-hmm.
and like just knowing yourself and the way you work,
Mm-hmm.
just being around other people, you see the way they work, and we learn from each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we just had fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Were there any stories or your favorite moments during this project?
I mean, most of it was pretty amazing, honestly. Like, there was a lot of hard work to it, but it was beneficial because this is my first time really coming into something as huge as a mural. And I mean, you just want to soak it all in, like every lesson, like strategy, whatever it is. Um, but yeah, every moment was pretty great. I think just being around other artists and just that's like the thing that would unite us, actually
Yeah.
art, like putting paint on the canvas and then learning from David and Wayne, they were teaching us things that took them like their career to learn. So it's like we're learning stuff that it took them a while and they're giving it to us. And yeah, all of it was mostly fun. Like, we would always listen to music.
What kind of music do you guys listen?
Well, we would take turns on playing our own music, like our playlist. But my favorite was David's because, he grew up, I don't know, was it like the 60s or 70s? So his, like, I would hear music. It was new to me, but it was old. Like psychedelic rock or, I don't know, like old bands that I never knew existed. But their music, it was really great music. So I would get excited when he would put on his phone because
Yeah.
I knew something great was going to come out of it.
Oh, that's so fun. Do you listen music while you was doing your own work?
Yeah, most of the time. I think and then sometimes pretty much all the time. Like I can't work without listening to music.
Wow.
And then I think an interesting part about it is like the brush strokes. Like sometimes I'll catch myself like brushing like to the beat,
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
It's just like we all inspire each other. So you could get inspired by some music, like music sometimes puts you in the mood or if you feel some type of way. And if you're feeling some type of way, you listen to a song and then it'll help you create.
Wow. I'm glad that we involved a musician for tonight.
Yeah, it was great.
So you do think, I heard a lot of artists, they say they cannot not listen to music while they're producing painting. Yeah, it's very important. So do you have any advice for young artists out there?
Yeah, I would say just keep doing what you're doing because, art, like everyone has a thing, right? Growing up, some people are into sports, some people are into other things, some kids, and, art, that's like a doorway, right? To like, it's very personal. So I would just say just keep doing it if that's what you love doing and reach out. Like, I grew up in Pomona and I didn't know this place existed, right? And so if I was a young kid and I knew this place existed, I wouldn't leave here. I would be here all day and because you're surrounded by so many ways. Like, you don't even have to be an artist, I think. You just come here and you'll connect with something. Like, whether it's dance, painting, or music, or anything. And that's real important, I think, for any kid.
Yeah, to find their own communities. Yeah, a lot of art students coming out from the art school and graduated and once they find our community, it's a great shift. But if they don't find the community, it's really hard time for artists. I feel like artists and musicians, like we need communities and we do need these connections for each other.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like the downtown Pomona, the Arts Colony and the Dot Center, like connecting us together. Do you are you working on any new projects or your own work, or do you have any plans?
Well, right now, I did a commission of it's my grandpa on a horse, and that commission I got it maybe like over a year ago, but it was kind of intimidating to work because it's oil, and I would just procrastinate. So he hit me with a deadline because he wants to take it to Mexico. And he was going to take it, so I had a deadline and I completed it. So right now, that was the last project I worked on. And I'm looking forward to working on more. I want to mess around with different things. Like, so I started trying to make music. And the only thing that was holding me back from either making new artwork or music was that painting, like in my room,
Yeah.
unfinished. So once I got it done, that gives me breathing room to, try to mess around with music or another canvas or something.
Yeah, and it's in your room, like you see it every day. So
Yeah, it would kill me every day, just unfinished, looking at me.
yeah, maybe take a step away from that painting and do mess around with the music before you go back to that painting.
Well, I'm finished with it. Yeah,
No.
yeah. So it's
Okay.
done.
Okay, that's good.
It's
I was
over.
like, okay, ignore my advice.
Oh, no, it was good advice. I would try to, but it
Yeah.
just stares at you.
Okay, great. How do we do with the time? It's
7 minutes.
okay. Do you guys have any questions, our audiences on site, to our artists?
Seven minutes.
Do you have a favorite artist or like inspiration? Because I know you like surreal art, right?
Yeah, I think. I've always been attracted to Salvador Dali's work, so I think that kind of, like gave me like a direction, because the whole surrealism thing, like just making something that's not real look so real, it kind of deceives the mind. Yeah. So I think that's probably what led to my art.
Yeah, and what medium are you using? I forgot to ask.
Well, first I started with acrylic, but now I started messing around with oils. So I think I'm gonna stick with oil for a while, just because the way you could mess with it, like blending and. Yeah.
Why? What the difference between oil and acrylic that makes you really wanna?
Well, I got acrylics. I would get the 50 cent, 75 cent, acrylic bottles for crafts at Walmart, just because it was the cheapest. But I think, I like acrylic. Just the only thing, it dries quick. But I think with oil, it just, it stays wet, and then the way the colors, the pigments mix, it's much better. So
It's better blending.
yeah, blending, and I think once it dries, it looks more realistic, I think.
Yeah, because the process of using oil making painting and using acrylic, like it's pretty different. Like when I was using acrylic, it just like layering on top, like I couldn't really blend anything. But
Yeah.
oil is like the same layer, but you keep adding a little bit on top.
Yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
lot, like there's a lot to learn. Like I still have to learn a lot about using oils, like different techniques, and they have like linseed oil and other chemicals or agents you could use to it. And I'm just scratching the surface with it. I'm kind of like using it like if it was acrylic, but just oil, except it's easier to blend.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all, wonderful artists and musicians, and thank you our audiences for being here with us tonight.
We
And
do have an audience question. How do people connect with you?
Well, you can reach me on Instagram, Oxoro_Nabetze. That's my name backwards. Esteban Orozco. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. So you could just send me,
That's fun.
hit me up on there, I guess. I don't want to put my cell phone number out there. Yeah.
Okay. Good. No questions anymore. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. And Maduda Center is doing this monthly, so do save your date and check out the past art beat on the YouTube channel as well. Thank you, guys. Bye.